I'm alive. We're back. Before we get into this week, just want to give a quick shout out to the lovely fella who said we had a super low value discussion last week. Basically thinks we're a bunch of fucking idiots. Thank you very much. A view's a view.
He's correct.
And a comment is a comment, so he is correct. But hi fellas, how you doing?
Good.
Am I expected to bring the IQ level up this week, having spent 5 days man marking that toilet in there?
Oh, really? Oh, Jesus, guys.
Filecoin coded.
Quite a start of the pod. Might need Henry to bleep that one out there.
Filecoin coded.
Filecoin coded. But look, as we always do, going to rattle through some headlines. It's going to be a bit of a sporadic week this week, I think. I can't promise it's going to be as good as having Mr. Morbid19 on last week, who smashed it, by the way, didn't he? Can we just give a quick word on that legend? Very, very good conversation. So we'll try and replicate that this week, but we're probably more ill-prepared, so I will not make any promises. So where are we then? Headlines. Uniswap V4 TVL surpasses 1 billion with cumulative trading volume exceeding 110 billion. Satoshi-era Bitcoin investor sells over 80,000 BTC for 9 billion via Galaxy Digital, making it one of the largest national transactions in crypto history. Eigencloud goes multi-chain on Base, implying AVSs can now expand beyond the Ethereum L1. Kraken to integrate Inc. token and the underlying L2 into its core product suite. Token airdrop expected soon. Very excited about that one, actually. I think we'll probably have a lot to say about that. Gallup's latest survey indicates that only 14% of US adults, I nearly said audits there, own BTC or other crypto. Solo Miner successfully mines Bitcoin block 907283. Vietnam, shout out Gaz, launches NDA Chain, the national blockchain platform to accelerate digital data infra. Justin Sun says that NASDAQ is just the starting point for our listing. The NASDAQ 100 index, including NVIDIA, Apple, and Google, is our target. Go on, the Tron boys. Hyperliquid experiences brief downtime, hindering users' order execution. The issue was flagged and resolved almost instantly, though. And sadly, Radix Networks' Dan Hughes did pass away this weekend, good friends of ours. So I just want to send some respect to all of the Radix community, friends, family of Dan. It's devastating news, to be honest, to have heard that. So, yeah, all condolences going your way from all the Blockmates team. So I think when I read these headlines out, when Lavina writes them up, I am really Ron Burgundy mode. Like, she could put anything in front of me there, and I would say,
what is it you put at the end of the teleprompter? Who put a
I'm
question mark at the end of the teleprompter?
when he does that. But last week we spent a fair bit of time talking about Ethereum, and so I don't want to do that this week. But yesterday, or today, or maybe it's tomorrow, depending on when you're listening to this recording, I'm not going to confirm or deny, was the birth of Ethereum. It turned 10 years old. So, yeah, what I want to do is have a quick look at what it's achieved to this point. Last week, Grant's still bearish. Grant will be bearish until the end of time. But I'm going to pull up this story and we'll have a look through some of the juice. Okay, so happy birthday, Ethereum. ETH turns 10, a decade of innovation, drama, and resilience. So time flies when you're redefining finance and tech. It's one of those mornings. So on the 30th of July, confirmed today, which is when we're recording this, Ethereum turns 10 years old. So from a scrappy network dreamed up by a teenage prodigy to the powerhouse of DeFi and NFTs, ETH's journey is filled with triumphs, setbacks, and a whole lot of community spirit. So from humble beginnings to big dreams. So I've got a photo of Vitalik up here, and we obviously talked about Mr. Charles Hoskinson last week, who, if you're listening out there, sir, please come on the pod. We've got a lot of questions for you.
We need to know about the aliens, Charles.
we need to know about the aliens, and Gaz wants to know what you baked with those gloves as well. So, look, ETH has gone through a lot, and as this says here, ETH's first real good check came in June 2016, courtesy of the obviously infamous DAO hack, where a decentralized venture capital fund built atop Ethereum, raised an eye-watering 150 million, only to lose a third of it, about 50 million, in a shocking exploit. We've been through ICO mania, regulatory drama, scaling wars. We've had the DeFi summer boom, all of the pain that comes with high transactions and everyone trying to operate on the network and the gas fees, and ETH just consistently refusing to go away. So first place to start, lads, is Gaz, you first. How do you rate 10 years of existence for Ethereum?
I think as someone who's only been around for about 7 of those years, it is just like the old reliable chain in many ways. Like 10 years, I think 16 upgrades, 0 downtime. It just screams like reliability. And I think like during my history in crypto, I think the kind of the merge from proof of work over to proof of stake, like that was a pretty crazy engineering feat, kind of like swapping out a jet engine mid-flight. So like they have pulled off some really big asks. I think as of late, they've had obviously a massive blip this cycle in terms of sentiment towards them, the underperformance, and maybe some of the things behind the scenes that weren't going in the way that many degens wanted. But I think this is a story of like never writing something off, because sentiment and price can flip on a dime. And you've seen that most recently. And now we kind of have momentum behind ETH, which is very much positive for the crypto space broadly. So I think in terms of anything sustaining for 10 years in this space is just like hats off, to be fair. So fair dues where it's said. So yeah, I think long may this strength that we're seeing now continue, the birth of these DATs, digital asset treasuries, and the ETFs, etc. I think we're kind of in good stead for rocket ship for end of cycle here.
I like that. Grant?
Well, you know, my like short-term bearishness, it's not like ingrained in any hate for Ethereum. I think it's literally one of the, from a philosophical perspective, like on a much wider lens, I think it's probably one of the greatest innovations that humanity's ever released, and I don't say that lightly. The ideals behind it are rooted so deeply in what the space should be, which it seems to be straying a lot further from that every single day, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But if you boil it down to like what the crypto ethos should be, like what the cypherpunk vision should be, it is Ethereum. But again, you can still, I always say this, but you can still hold conflicting opinions at the same time. Short term, over the past 18 months, I feel like it rested on the laurels a little bit. They felt like there was a little bit of complacency that snuck in there. Then you kind of go toe to toe with some of the best operators in probably on the planet when they go toe to toe with Solana, and then they kind of got upseated. I do now like that they've kind of got their shit together with what Danny Ryan and the team at Etherealize have been doing, and it feels like there's good momentum again. But like to kind of like wrap it up from what it started out as with the billion co-founders to what it's actually became and what it will be in the future, I think the space is much better for having it here. Vitalik is a very, very unique mind. And I still think when all's said and done, all roads probably do lead back to Ethereum.
I agree. So moving swiftly on, when we're talking about the timeline this week, we basically had the base Zora takeover. And even though I blame Jesse for the fact that everyone is grammatically fundamentally incorrect in the way on-chain is written, it is on-chain. But apparently now we're all saying on-chain, so we will revert to that. I concede. On-chain, online, whatever.
Have we changed our
nomenclature document? Yep.
Yeah, we have
it's a big word, isn't it, for people like
I'm surprised you got that one out.
Yeah. Considering I fucked up reading some of the other stuff. But I'll give you top line and then we'll get into this because there's some conversation to be had. So essentially the base app integrated with Zora and Farcaster recently. Farcaster and all this, where I'm going to take this, is going to be very, very evident. And what it is in a nutshell is it basically allows users to mint tradable tokens tied to their profile or their individual social posts. So Jesse's big theory on this, and correct me if I'm wrong, as far as I understand it, is that creators should be getting paid for the value they are bringing to the content that they bring into the space. Now, there were a hell of a lot of potholes in this as well. And it's also funny given how much base we're pushing Spindle. But that's another conversation for another day. But the daily token creations on the platform have actually rocketed from over 4,000 to over 15,000, and trading volume soared to over 10 million a day. Daily payouts have also risen from around $1,000 to directly over 200,000. Over 220,000 unique coin creators have hopped onto the bandwagon. There's some live data dashboards and stuff that I can pull up here. And the conversation that we're talking about here, and I will pull the story up in a second, is like, are we seeing the birth of a proper creator economy, or is this just another flash in the pan? I'm going to go first and say the latter. But what do you think? And then we can get into it. Guys, lad.
It'd be quite funny if it's topped already. It's one of those things, yeah, like if you pull up the June dashboard as an example and you look at some of the stats, like high level, they look really, really good. And then like if you use the app and you have a little look through it, like it just feels to me very like Friendtech 2.0, slot-based content. People are engagement farming, seen a lot of like girls thirst trapping on there and guys buying up their posts of like scantily clad bikini shots. So that was me just having like an hour's look through. I was like, this is a bit odd here.
Careful what you say.
I was going to say, is that why I've been sat in the toilet for 5 days?
No comment.
So let me just read off some of these stats, guys, before, so I can pause you there and then you can continue your train of thought. For I know 563 is out there somewhere listening on RSS, so he'll appreciate me reading this. So coins total volume, 436 mil here, 1.5 mil coins created. Fucking hell. Unique creators, 222,000, as we've already said. Coins rewards up to like over 3.5 mil. But yeah, guys, continue what you're saying there. You think that most of this is just trash?
I think if you do spend some time on the platform, well, for me personally, it made me more bearish, to be honest with you, just because it did seem like a lot of slop, just attention grabbing stuff, which I just feel like we saw this play out earlier in the cycle with Friendtech. It just given me the same vibes again. And we know how that one ended. And if you look at it from like the chart perspective, it looks like it's had a bit of a blow off here. So I think it kind of boils down to, is this maybe a story of that base wallet becoming base app, and then the kind of base cabal or base team, or whatever you want to call them, sending stuff vertical to grab this attention, which is a good marketing spend, I think. Obviously, people are using it, but I do think it is one of those. So, yeah, that's my kind of take on having used it.
Grant, is there an argument to be made that the lessons could be learned from the arena and Friendtech and all these kind of previous social fire things that have gone tits up? Or what do you think? I mean, maybe you're bullish. I don't know. I haven't asked you.
It's just euthanasia roller coaster on a different chain. Like, if you know that image where it's like the endless loop that continually gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and I think it's probably just one of those things where there are multiple different factors that culminate into a tailwind. So by that I mean pumped up fund launch, bonk flipping it, base app goes live. You kind of like, if you to draw a circle around all three of those and then slap bang in the middle of that Venn diagram is Zora. So it's all like, this is like kind of like how speculation, narrative, and trading, what you think people will be speaking about, works in this industry, and attention is absolutely everything. So you can kind of see a catalyst on the horizon. What are the second and third order effects going to be? And then this was just slap bang in the middle. That's kind of caught lightning in a bottle for this short period of time. Do I feel like it'll continue? No, because I feel like it's inherently flawed around the design. I don't think social and finance typically work, to be honest. I think it's just two completely different products that are getting mashed together. Now, if you think about it if it is purely set out from a trading perspective, then social can work. But when you're trying to like position something and quote something up as if it's not supposed to be about the trading aspect of it, but it is, it's just like, what are we even doing here? Like, if you go on pvp.trade on Hyperliquid, that is purely for a trading, like, you're looking at people's trades, maybe you're following them in, there's PvP style battle. If you're using FOMO, like the FOMO app, you can kind of see what meme coins people are buying directly tied to. People know what they're doing there, right? But I feel like this is kind of trying to put this veil of, oh, this is like creator economy, but under the hood it's the same shit. And that's what just doesn't like. Are we just like pretending that this is supposed to be like some social aspect, but it's purely just people trying to speculate on trading tokens? So it doesn't really line up. In my opinion, I don't think it'll continue, if I'm being completely honest.
So it's been kind of baked into the whole Launchpad stuff as well, hasn't it? And kind of everything that happened with Launchcoin and stuff. Is there not an argument to be made though that that's all that was as well?
That was a vehicle for buying really expensive handbags.
But in terms of like trading the assets and stuff as tokens, like, is that not what everything is here? I'm just playing devil's advocate, by the way.
Why do you need to buy a post?
Kind of like convoluted,
Yeah.
They financialized every aspect of their social media channel, so it's like any post becomes a coin. It's just like we're speed running the dilution Olympics here.
Yeah, some people shouldn't even be tweeting. Never mind talking to a fucking tweet. Like,
I think it had a bit of backlash from Zach XBT as well. I think he mentioned late last year. I think they maybe changed some of their terms around it because one of his posts became a coin without his say so. I think they just changed the kind of T's and C's, didn't change the docs and stuff. But someone had obviously noticed this change, started buying up his, I think it's one of the big hacks he uncovered is called like 283 million or something like this. And some sharp got in, bought up a load of tokens, people followed him behind, and this guy turned like, say, a few hundred bucks into 100K. And that kind of didn't sit well with him either. So he's kind of called it out as a bit of a flawed platform, maybe on a philosophical sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously varying takes here. Like, as we've said, the new creator economy, this is just the beginning, kind of all feels like very wishy-washy, wrapped up in a flash in the pan product to me. And then I saw one tweet, and obviously we're biased. We all have our own opinions here. But I saw one, it was Base app is cool, but the real reason Jesse and Base push creator coins on Zora is simple. You pay 3% fee every time you buy or sell. They collect MEV from the Base sequencer on every single trade. Your retention is printing Base fees. And there was a reply to that said, and they've built it so well you don't even notice you're the product. Then Abby said, a matter of time, 3% fees would definitely be a wake-up call. Can they be blamed for that? Or is it a grift? Or is that unfair of me to call it? It's business, yeah.
The application is very aligned with the Base business model, is all I'll say. Like an L2 business model is very, very, very simple, particularly if it's built on someone else's SDK or stack, which it is. Base is built on OP stack, which I believe they pay like around 50% of all revenue towards Optimism. Mm-hmm. It's very, very simple. How much in fees are people paying on the L2? Take away how much it costs to submit the transactions back to the L1. And the difference between that is your revenue for your L2. It's a really, really simple business model. So if you can drive a shitload of attention, which you should be doing, because there should be demand for block space, but at the same time, you've got to remember it's also a centralized sequencer that, again, is exposed to that kind of like toxic flow that people are getting stung by on a platform like this. So it's a bit, as I say, it's a product that fits the ideals of the product it's built on top of, which is a little bit funky for me. But it's also happened on Solana. I will point that out. Yep. Like MEV's been fucking horrendous on Solana. Loads of validators getting kicked off. Then G2 have came out with BAM, and again, I don't think that's much better. I think it's just packaging it in a completely different way, if I'm completely honest. So
yeah. So not the new SocialFi beacon of light then.
Oh yeah, it's the next Twitter. It's the next T app.
You can feel the spiciness coming from us on this episode today, can't you? I can feel it myself.
Knackered,
yeah, we're all absolutely knackered.
Getting aggy.
But what I want to do is I'm reading this one and trying to catch up on it for the first time as we're recording. So although our job and my job is to sit here and inform you, I'm very uninformed. So I'm going to pull up I'm going to pull up this story because I know that Grant has something to say about this just before we hit record, and let's just do it in real time together. So AI plus prediction markets, Grok taps into Kalshi to power real-time event trading. So Elon Musk's brainchild Grok is obviously now stepping into the world of prediction markets. It was announced on Grok this week that Grok will, on X obviously, the Grok will now power real-time AI analysis for Kalshi users, the only CFTC regulated platform where traders can bet on events like interest rate decisions, movie awards, and even the weather. Now, obviously, we're thinking Polymarket here. Think of it as ChatGPT with skin in the game. So the two are partnering up on this. So essentially, the integration gives Kalshi users direct access to Grok's large LLM. I don't know why I said large LLM. I decided mid-sentence that I was going to read the abbreviation, letting them query on-chain data. Oh, look what Ed did. He put on-chain like a real writer who's being taught properly.
Right, Ed sacked.
Sack him. Historical markets, odds, and breaking headlines all before placing a trade. In the two-way street, traders get AI-powered analysis. Grok gets live feedback. So Kalshi was founded in 2018 by some MIT grads. I'm not going to read the names. Run a federally regulated event. Contract exchange. Traders buy yes or no shares that pay out $1 per share if they're right, 0 if they're not. So this is the first place we'll start on this. And then I will get into probably some of the Polymarket stuff as well. Grant, what is the deal here?
So I think we covered, like, just let's start at the top. Like,
yeah,
we covered the UMA situation, and I think these prediction markets are starting to realize that the inevitable solution that should be objective for the resolution of these markets will eventually be AI, which, for better or worse, that's how it's going. The additional context is the Kalshi team, in my opinion, have been up to a lot of shenanigans with regards to trying to position towards regulatory capture of this prediction market in the US, right? So there's been a few things regarding this and some more recent things. So back, I mean, when was this? June 2026.
Are you going to say when X partnered with Polymarket?
No, this is before that, right? So
Okay.
in June, there was like a Pirate Wires article that mentioned that Kalshi had paid influencers to target Polymarket CEO after an FBI raid, right? And there's chats that have been leaked about Kalshi saying to this big account on Twitter, can you retweet like these articles and make Shane look a bit dodgy? Just some like passive FUD, right? So that came out. And then the more recent, like if you look at Kalshi's like positioning, they are all around, we are the only licensed prediction market in the US. Then Polymarket go into talks to acquire someone who has the similar sort of license so they can actually basically nullify their Kalshi's positioning in the market. And then the more up-to-date kind of ongoing shenanigans on Kalshi's behalf is that the new CFTC chair that is about to get, I suppose, voted in, this Brian Quintenz guy, the CFTC, like basically the swearing in of him is being delayed because this Brian guy is on the board member of, he's a board member of Kalshi with around 3 million stake in the company. So there's something going on here from a regulatory capture perspective, and there's no smoke without fire around these kind of things. So if it is a pure, we are going to win because we are going to buddy up to people in high places with 3 and 4 letter agencies, and that's how we're going to kind of wipe you out of the US market, that stinks.
Yeah.
And you've already started to see them kind of position themselves on Twitter with the likes of like the Walter Bloomberg guy, and they've already played the influencer marketing game in a very, very subtle way. So you will start to see people reference Kalshi markets within their tweets that have like significant influence in the financial markets, which once I've said that now, you'll kind of become more and more aware of it as you see it. It's not so subtle once you know where to look. So yeah, I'm team Polymarket and Shane. I think they're some of the best operators on the planet, not just in this industry at the minute. And I really just don't like the fact that I've seen these things play out before and it has went the way of pure regulatory capture, and it's fucking horrendous, really.
Now that you've actually said that as well, bro, I've actually seen a few tweets kind of subtweeting Kalshi or referencing Kalshi, which actually makes a bit more sense now. And it seems to have gained in mindshare over Polymarket as the referred to venue. So maybe, yeah, you're onto something with that there. Do you think in terms of where X are going with this, though, are they just looking to offer the best possible prediction markets and like hands off in terms of like whoever's in bed with the suits? Do you think they're just going to be like, we'll take a clip on the front end, offer prediction markets as maybe a tab on x.com, or what do you see this going now?
Well, I think like if you think about it from XAI and Grok's perspective, their business model is relatively simple as well. It's like, how many people can you get to fucking ping Grok? And if you're going into like some of the largest prediction markets on the planet, like it's a very, very simple integration problem. They want to get in there before Sam Altman comes sniffing around. It's probably more aligned, to be honest, to have Grok in there than a ChatGPT or a Claude or definitely a Gemini. So it makes sense, but I don't get the positioning of, and maybe this is just naive from Polymarket, but they should have went into basically a license, not a licensing agreement, but like a you can only work with us style agreement if they knew the competition was so hot for that. In my opinion, it just seems a bit naive to not kind of get that wrapped up where they Grok couldn't go and then work with Kalshi, because it seems a bit stupid, really.
But that's what is where I'm scratching my head with this, though, because as I say, it was only in June or something that the X was going to be working.
It was
so
recent, wasn't it?
So what, as Gaz, as you're saying, is this just be a case of is it not just fair game as well if this like fuckery is beating your competition? And yes, it stinks, but
it is. But there's a right way to win as well, like in my opinion.
Oh, I don't disagree, but that doesn't mean that
We've said it a million times to founders as well. Like the best product doesn't always win as well. So,
but I would argue that Polymarket already has one, and I think that when we talk about brand strength and equity and all this kind of thing, are you really gonna, when we talk about changing user behavior, the only thing that obviously jumps out to me is that is an immense amount of power to have it connected to Grok, where the predominant target market for this thing is going to be living using the API. That's the only thing that I'm looking at and going, "Ooh, this could get interesting."
We'll see. I think like from if you want to kind of target the most degenerate cohort of gambling addicts on the planet, you need to be crypto aligned. I don't think Kalshi is.
Fair enough. In light of keeping it relatively light this week, I've also realised that Satoshi has been back on the radar. He's reappeared.
Which one?
Who do you think Satoshi is?
Craig Wright, obviously.
Richard Hart.
Mr. Craig Wright. What they don't want you to know about the 80k BTC transfers and Craig Wright. First time I'm reading this, by the way, disclaimer. One of the crypto world's biggest rabbit holes just got a fresh twist. What a way to end this is. Over the past few weeks, around 80,000 BTC, that's over 8 billion, suddenly started moving from wallets that hadn't budged in over a decade. While the chatter on Reddit and X has been loud, one name has been surprisingly absent from most discussions: Dr. Craig Stephen Wright. The controversial figure who claims to be Bitcoin's elusive creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, addresses lawsuits and the Tulip Trust Trail. So in a detailed post by analyst Truth Machine on Medium, one Medium points out that 3 of the addresses involved in the recent BTC movements were listed in court during the 2019 Kleiman v. Wright case. These were not part of the massive 1,400 address list Wright submitted under the legal obligation, but from a smaller, more specific group of 26 addresses allegedly tied to the Tulip Trust, a supposed stash of early mined Bitcoin associated with Wright. So I'm just going to jump down because this is quite a big one as well. So if he's moving all of this money around, he's been chased up loads of times legally and all this kind of thing as well. What's he up to? Or like, are we guilty for even talking about this? Are we just peddling bullshit by pulling this up?
They're giving him airtime. They're giving him more airtime. I think I think if that's his 80,000 BTC, and his cards are going to be marked, no? Like, he's a bit of a odd character, probably hasn't done himself favors over the year.
And just for clarity here, is this all tied to the fact that he was previously charged and chased down for loads of money owed? So he's claiming it was stashed, and then he's moving these wallets around that he claimed never existed. I think that's what we're saying here, isn't it?
Well,
I haven't done my due diligence.
Yeah. Neither have I, guys. Not this week.
What we're saying is Bitcoin Satoshi's vision is the real Bitcoin.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
In a nutshell. So I think we'll draw a line into the air, lads. So SocialFi is back. Happy birthday, Ethereum. Is Polymarket going to be nipped off the top spot?
And Satoshi's back from the dead.
You can dislike this week if you want. Or you can leave a comment. As long as it is, I'll even shout you out if you leave something derogatory. It's fine. We enjoy it all the same. But thanks, guys. Thanks, Grant. And I'll see you on the next one.